Welcome to my presentation of a didactical lesson I created based on Obama's speech to Wakefield High School students. For starters here, I'm gonna show you the speech itself, or the abstract that I want the students to work with. Yeah, you'll see for yourself. Right, so after the abstract here, I have a picture with the link included to the full speech. I want the students to be able to dive into the speech itself and see for themselves what it was all about in full, if they want to do that. Then they need to jot down some keywords, and they need to answer 3 questions in the easy task, the first of 2 possible tasks. Who was the then President Obama talking to? What was the intention of his speech? And how do you feel about the speech? The second task is, as it often is, the more advanced one, where the student should write a speech that will match Obama's speech, and in a way that invites, obviously, the reader to see expectations and opportunities school on the everyday from the student's perspective. Right. So, when I first set out to create this task, I had several considerations. My ultimate goal is and will always be to give the students various insights and broaden their perspective in any task I give them. This task is aimed at VG1, the first year in high school, or freshman level, at studieforberedende level. The speech I use as a setting for my tuition is a typical speech for Obama in his presidential era. Amongst others, it has the rhetorical tool elements of repetition, alliteration, simile, metaphors, and antitheses implemented. When we discuss elements in a text, the student's understanding of these elements will help twofold. With this, with this assignment, I'm aiming at oral communication and written communication in LK06. In Norwegian, these would be the first one, oral. Vurdere og bruke egnede lytte- og talestrategier til passe formål og situasjon. And the written ones would be A. Vurdere og bruke egnede lese- og skrivestrategier til passe formål og type tekst. And B. Forstå og bruke et bredt generelt ordforråd og et faglig ordforråd knyttet til eget utdanningsprogram. Right, so let's proceed to the actual class and the didactics involved. I'll begin by asking in class who President Obama was, and if the student would know anything significant about him, and what they know about presidents, speeches, life as a student in America, and so on and so forth in the first place. I'll also invite everybody to share and ask questions, even peripheral ones, in order to include all of the students. And next, I'll present a little background about President Obama. I get this from biography.com, which is a good site for biographies in America, that is, and the student also get the opportunity to dive in themselves. Also, they're being gently reminded and prodded in the direction of protocol in relation to link providing, right? Okay, we'll get back to that later. Now, since the assignment is aimed at both oral and written performances, I'll let the students have all 5 lessons during the week for their assignment. This gives me the opportunity to provide help and support on an individual basis, as well as a view into the particular student and his and her or her line of thought. I want to go one layer deeper whenever I can, because that might make me understand the student better, which creates a better relationship between teacher and student, right? Okay. With sufficient time on their hands and mine, we're able to recapitulate and brush up on our written requirements as well. That means that, you can go a little bit more into detail, basically, with sufficient time, and be sure that your intention with the project resonates within the students' minds, right? Okay, so how to create an overview by applying structure divided into 5 main points. We always do that. These are introduction, where you present your topic for the innocent reader. Innocent because we must assume that the reader will know absolutely nothing about the subject the student has chosen to write about. Second would be reasons for writing the assignment, which will not include, well, the teacher told me to. We don't want that one. Argumentation, where you provide for and against arguments, who says what inputs, and so on and so forth. And in-depth presentation, as in facts, quotes, and the student's own clever speculations related to these, right? Then we have a conclusion based on the above and held in a somewhat rigid reliance to the assignment's introduction. We want introduction and the conclusion to match. I always stress that fact because very often, or occasionally, ever so often, anyways, I see a mismatch between their introduction and a conclusion in an assignment. Finally, we want to be sure that they have provided their sources, and if we're talking about a book, we're talking about author, publisher, edition, year of publication, and so on and so forth, and link from the internet. They must all be presented in the right alphabetical order, just to create a better overview. This assignment will be handed in at the end of the week, Sunday at midnight, and will be assessed by me during the next 1 or 2 weeks. This will give the student the opportunity to brush up on various details that mostly comes to mind when you work alone and have the opportunity to become engrossed in your work. As an aftermath, we have provided ourselves with an opening into American society, which in turn allows us to drøfte kultur og samfunnsforhold i flere engelskspråklige land, via a look into the Constitution, for instance, and its amendments as a natural continuation. This assignment is also all about language learning, but at an advanced level. The ever-present educational value of being presented with new words, new meanings, and new approaches to voicing your individual opinion is integrated. That's pedagogy for you. I am to lift the curtain of an advanced level of reading as well, this being the tricks of the trade underneath the mere structure. For instance, rhetorics and so on and so forth. It would be taking things at least one step too far if we dwelled here, though, but it must be mentioned as it might pique an interest in the students. I also want the students to realize that everything is not as casual as it might seem on the surface. Also, that words carry meanings and can yield potential reactions in the reader. A little contemplation about the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword, perhaps. Which is definitely the case. Well, this is me, and in the middle here we see a picture of me in my daily work outfit, I guess. And I hope you enjoyed my little presentation, and I look forward to seeing yours. Bye-bye.